Yeah, Tanner, unmute. We're going into what a game too, though. Besides that silliness, that map was incredible. I think one of the most entertaining ones we've had on stream on the qualifier thus far. An insane comeback by CLG. Tanner, you really had to go and curse it. You thought it was maybe going that 2-0 direction. We weren't really sure after how Pearl broke down, but then CLG won both pistol rounds, started off 9-4, then Complexity started coming back.
Yeah.
But Tanner, we have to highlight Han on Breach. Insane impact there.
Yeah, 100%. I believe 8 and 12 or something of the sort. 8 and 10 at the half. But the kills that Han was finding, so incredibly impactful in 1vx situations. We saw that that round. What was it? I think it was round 17, where they take the B site and they have no business winning the round. But again, it's just off the back end of Han. The calls were incredible as well. The reads were insane. This was one of those rounds too where just a game this close, you need those rounds, and Han was the player who was getting it done.
I think overall, one of the craziest maps that we've seen for sure. It was so back and forth, especially because of those ultimates that were available round after round in the second half. Round 19 with Dodona and the lockdown going down, getting 4 players. So many opportunities that were happening for Complexity to turn it around, but they were always met by CLG and unbelievable plays overall in round 23 as well that we got to see Kara, and a lot more of those first bloods that we see right now. Maybe not the same amount as Complexity was getting, but that was one of the biggest problems. Even that last round, it started well for Complexity. They got 2 kills, and out of nowhere, things go the wrong way. And it's just that ace from Emlo, absolutely insane. The clutch that had to come through just in time. If no, it was going to be an eco, potentially an overtime, but just leaves no chance for that.
Yeah, that's a great transition, Dryad, of just comparing our killjoys. Claudia had an amazing game on map 2. What did you think about that matchup against Claudia versus Emluo? Like, where are we investing our money into?
It's so crazy because that first half, it was all about Claudia getting the one tap every time. The casters were bringing it up. It was so clean. The utility as well was great. But, I mean, after that last round, you just got to give credit to the other side. It's, I think, insane, the duel that we get to see between the 2 killjoys, and it's been the reason why we've been seeing killjoy more and more on this map instead of the Cypher or anything else. I like, though, the composition that Complexity was bringing. Sure, it's a little different with the double sentinel, but so it was that difference in composition that we saw from CLG with the Astra that we're not used to seeing just by itself.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the Killjoys real quick. It was the head-to-head was so perfect because they both had a lot of impact on the same exact side. It was Claudia to get started, and then eventually Emily was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do one better, and then completely shows up huge. And at the start of the show, I guess we were talking in the green room at the start of the map about that Astra that you just mentioned, Dryad, and I thought, you know, that Claudia would be maybe a bit more I guess have a bit more potency because you don't have any direct answer to the lockdown anymore without that brimstone. There were a lot of weird rounds for Complexity where they want to invest ultimates, and then as they do, 2 players die and the round is kind of just over and you have a wasted ultimate. It just really stings kind of see that. This is going to be a VOD that really hurts watching back because you're, you know, this close from overtime, and it was those rounds that kind of turned it in favor of CLG.
Yeah. Well, I was this close to a heart attack, Tanner, for how many of the rounds that we saw. Like, I'm thinking about the Jazzy 4K at round 15, and the 4-person lockdown at round 19. You have the 1v1 at round 22 with the old Rolling Thunder that got used, where we're like, gotta clutch up on that one. There was so many rounds where we're holding our chests for dear life, thinking we're just gonna keel over. But we have one more map to decide who's getting that qualification spot. We're going to Ascent. And Tanner, we thought after Pearl, CLG got that dog in them, but man, they came back in game 2. How are you feeling about this game 3, considering just the past results of Complexity? Haven't played Ascent on this, but CLG are 2-0 on this map.
Yeah, the most recent showings for Complexity on Ascent are from a tournament that was put together that had kind of a really weird format, so you can't really put too much of an investment into it. The only thing that I can expect, and I'm not going to, I'm not, I guess, I'm not now attending the Church of CLG, and I think CLG are going to win this. I am going to stick to my guns, for lack of a better term there. I do think Complexity get it done because I think the anonymity of what their composition is going to be, it's going to be so, I would imagine something so wild, and if not something so wild, just the paranoia that's been set now in the minds of CLG because they have no idea what to expect when you have such a flexible team where Lace is playing 3 different roles. You've got Jazzy who can play Duelist but also play the Sage, and there's just a lot to think about for CLG going into this next map.
And I think one of the best ways for Complexity to reset a little bit more is just taking into account that they took this map to the distance, also losing both of the pistols. That means pretty much 4 rounds that they were losing. 1 actually ended up going their way. They answer right back. But at least you're giving those 3 rounds that, you know, it's those pistol rounds that are very, very 50-50. Now on Ascent, this is, like Kenny was saying, one of those maps where you can get a little bit more creative and talking and seeing all the conversations that the coach and everybody from Complexity has had. I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing the one of those. I mean, we've seen double Sentinel now in 2 maps, but on Ascent, is if we're going to see double, triple, or anything, is more likely than anything to be an initiator.
And looking at the 3rd map, going back to our comparison of Duelist, Tanner, Jazzy versus Dodo Nut, where we were waiting for Dodo Nut to be less Dodo and more of a nut in these games, and I think she really stepped up in Game 2. How are you feeling about that Duelist matchup, Jazzy versus Dodo Nut, going into Game 3?
Yeah, Dodo was living up to the name. Felt a little extinct on Pearl, and then Fracture were like, wait, not extinct, maybe just endangered. There's less of the species. There was less. It was a little more than what we saw on Pearl. I expect a pretty direct head-to-head. The last time we saw this map from Complexity, and again, it could change, it was the Jet for the team, so it would be really fun to see that strict Jet on Jet. I know that Raze on Raze, sure, is kind of the same thing on Fracture, but I believe both of these players are a little more known for their prowess on the Jet alone. So I'm super excited if we do see that, but the chances that we do could be very slim. Again, this could be a map where Jazzy's playing the Sage, they go no Duelist again. This Complexity team is playing Harbor Viper on Haven. On Haven. That's unheard of. That's a Pearl composition. What are you doing, Complexity? But it's working, right? So yeah, I don't really know what to expect here, but I do think that those are our 2 players to watch. And if not those 2 duelists, it's going to be how our Sentinel players shut down those 2 duelists, because, I mean, this is it for qualification.
This is it, Tanner. Triad, the deciding game on Ascend. Which team is getting that qualification spot? Our game is ready. Our players are back in their chairs. And I know our 2 favorite casters are on the mic. Take it away, Van Sillington.
Thank you so much, our friends at the desk. Indeed, it's time to bring our energy back up here for the 3rd and final map. The winner between these 2 teams is qualifying into the main event. Loser of this will still have to fight into the lower bracket gauntlet to try to make it through. And this is going to be an important game. We haven't seen too much of these 2 teams in this Game Changers. As the desk mentioned, Riv, we don't know what comp they could be coming out with, but Jazzikins, Tanner mentioned that she has played a Sage before here for Cloud9 in the past, but when we got into the Complexity Paradox, it was Claudia playing the Sage so that Jazzikins could go actually with an op chamber. So there you go. I was expecting her to come out or an op for the team, and because they're not playing agent bans, will come out on this Jet.
We get the double duelist? No. So that goes away for both teams. All right. Comes down to the initiators. Double initiator squads coming out here. Stars versus Omen with the Astra Omen. So a little bit of a change up, and we'll see what Dodonut can do now versus Jazzykin's Jet. I'm excited for this one here. We have Complexity coming out on attack first. We'll see what they decide. Kara is going to be a big focus with where these 0 points go, as well as Han. I love keeping track of that on Ascent because it means that almost one of the entries can be locked out right away. It can be understood, you know, unless they're so far back on A, but you prevent that rush and the defensive team can gain position. I think it's kind of one of the things I love about Ascent is it can either be one of the quickest maps where teams are starting right on the site basically, and they do a few utility abilities and they're following each other in, or it's just this stall game of who can start to work the map, and then we get in mid like round 6 or 7. People start going mid. It's just this evolution.
And then Athena into this map will bring up the fade. So a fade and a raise instead of trying to go for an operator. At least we can maybe get on the raise still, or an operator on blue. It just depends. But we're really going to potentially go with a fade and a raise combo with fade nades. But this prowl is usually, you mentioned it before on that previous map, usually good to clear close quarters, and also really good to actually allow it to post up like an operator on defense, right?
Yeah.
But they're not opting for that for CLG. So I'm still quite intrigued to see how we're going to play around and activate Donut if we want to try to play more aggressively and lock down angles here for CLG.
Actually, that's a good point. Jazzykin should be able to kind of navigate around a haunt or a prowler a little bit easier than taking a guiding light to the face. So we'll see how that interaction plays out as well. It is going to be a cat split here as they walk up mid in that 2-1. Oh, sorry, 2-2. One's on tiles. Claudia's taking your lurker on this one.
Yeah.
And 3 members in spawn. They're not even committing for CLG here, so they can get a nice quick rotate and see what happens at A site now.
We're playing so passively towards the spawn. 3 players for CLG in the back of market. Now all 4. All 3 rotated as the underhand flash doesn't work out. Kara with the frenzy. Paint shells to retaliate. Then Han opens it up. And Spike nowhere to be found.
Down A.
Nor is Claudia on the 3 versus 1, spotted by the Haunt, and we see the advantage of that Haunt coming out, of the Fade pick coming out from CLG as they're looking to close out a 3rd pistol in a row.
I'd say that's a little unheard of, what CLG just did. Usually you set up, you wait for the Spike plant. Spike wasn't even near site. They're like, no, we're taking this back right now. Through the smoke. Expect the unexpected, apparently. Oh, little dinky.
Yeah, that's Han looking to be flushed out by a dinosaur. Popped out into a 1v1, but the shots don't connect, so this is now looking difficult for Claudia. Athena waiting for a ghost kill, and we will get that CLG pistol round.
Assert the dominance. Honestly, that coming out from that defense was huge. We didn't even get a chance to catch the utility usage here that they used, and I know the nade went Jenny or somewhere near it, and they must have followed the Sova bolt in really confidently because no one second-guessed a single corner. Mluo dove in, just dancing down to Jenny, and the rest of the team followed. So Complexity knows it's coming, madam, quick. And they're going to take a little more consideration probably coming into these sites. And again, all of the team of CLG playing back to avoid these 0 points.
That's for Norb to get picked up. Turret outside B main from Claudia. Just to see if anybody's pushing out there. And you can already see it. Complexity booking it across on the other end. Just trying to potentially get this other orb and just put Kara up really quick with an ult commit in the future rounds.
Mid being watched by the turret on defense and the turret on offense, as we see that on the hut. It's going to be a hit with a flank coming in from Jazzykins.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty late lurk, though. We'll see if they can get this. Once the dismiss stars come in, that could be a pretty big clue in. They're going to re-hit again? 50 seconds, so there's quite a bit of time. I think they reconsider.
Especially when a knife just got thrown and it didn't identify anybody towards B main, so...
Right, yeah.
Complexity decides to fall back. A fake. So this is going to be a cloudburst to have 1 dash in, but the timing's off. They threw the knife as the cloudburst came out towards the A site, so the fake will not be sold towards A. Jazzykins will fall back instead. And everybody's just going to be ready at this point now for Complexity and for CLG in the back of the site.
This also could be a hold for the people at A. When you throw that smoke, you got to linger a little bit longer just to worry in the rotation through spawn.
Okay, still an opener. Long range raise in the face of Emily. But then here comes the trades with the Spectre in the back, running out of bullets. The flank on mid doesn't work out. Raze picks up a Spectre, but Mluo continues the highlight reels from the 2nd map to the 3rd, as CLG gets 2 unanswered rounds.
Yikes. Nicely done there. It did look like a kind of, I agree, it looked like a miscommunication there, but I think they might have just been trying to say, hey, how many people can we keep today? In the end, it doesn't really matter because, like you said, Mluo's there. They already had a pretty good rotation and a read on it. Nobody really rotated anyway, so CLG is saying, hey, we're there until we see Spike go down or you make a really big commit to a site, which is a great way to play the defensive side. If you're not going to be taking space, you know, you make the attacking team come to you every time. What has to happen anyways. Sounds simple, hard to do.
Well,
a little bit of a push into B main this time, though, to get some ground.
Yeah, and their bonus is actually quite low. Han with the pistol, Emily as well. 3 Spectres across the board. But you talk about that B pressure, it's off this alarm bot swing. Even a flash potentially towards window. I mean, there's just so much going on here. The nanoswarms on the other side of the sidewalk so that nobody can hide behind the boxes. And then the alarm bot's just going to activate the gravital in the back, the paint shells in the corner, the flash on the top, and then just plow through. And let's see if that's going to be the trap that Complexity is going to walk into. CLG's been cooking on this B hold.
Might have that mid play finally.
Oh, it's
that turret
coming.
is watching mid.
It's coming, Riv.
Why they're both focused outside.
There's the paint shells, the gravel on the back. You land on the paint shells for 2 kills. So that reactivates the paint shells for Donut. The bonus bill looks beautiful now for CLG.
30 seconds left.
Lace and Kara stuck on both extremities of the B site. Pinched, sandwiched, cornered, now in logs.
Enemy remaining.
Kara decides to fall back, looks for an escape.
Flawless.
And that even becomes a flawless round for CLG. 3 upgrades for everybody.
Flawless bonus. Wow. That'll boom you a little bit.
Yep.
That can hurt. That can hurt. But I think Complexity stronger than that. We'll be fine here. This isn't some ranked game, but yeah, you called it. Just hatching those paint shells as they try to get out. Beautifully played. And that's got to be a quick setup, right? Nobody's going to want to chill around a star. Emily being fast with Dodonut there, or Dodonut to really make that play work. Stingers are coming out. Complexity trying to flex that money just as far as it can go. It's going to be a play towards A. Everybody here, they're going to try to family photo. Oh my God, look at this, like T defensive utility.
Yeah.
I don't think they choose to go here.
No, definitely not. I agree with you, Riv. Complexity just held back towards Gelato, trying to avoid the 0 point in the first few rounds. Said, okay, there's no knife here. Let's start walking in. And then, surprise, 3 people spotted. And now it's back to trying to control it. B main, exactly. The recon dart should be coming around the corner, gets shot. So, okay, not going to try to push the corner yet. All these stars are being placed down. The ground has been gained for the defenders of CLG. So you try to go back into the A site where that's exactly what you're talking about here, Riv. So much util. But a knife spots them both. Okay, move in with that. Mluo hiding behind the attacker's power burst. Goes in for the first kill, but gets instantly spammed down by Jaskins with this stinger. Now across the corner. Jiggling across the left. Fragment onto the ground. Underhand flash. Claudia with a nanostorm kill onto Emily. And now you have to forfeit the site for CLG to play the retake.
30 seconds left.
So much util coming out. Nobody can see that on the heaven area. They try to get in for a few kills. Still quite a bit of util to be used. They have the haunt they can throw over. 3 in spawn. Here comes the haunt for detection.
Nobody.
Corner. It won't grab much.
Scanning ahead.
Gonna share a shot coming out from Claudia. Han falls. Dodonut and Athena. At this point, with the advantage that you have for Complexity, I mean, they still have money to work with, so it's an opportunity for CLG to still drop some bodies inside this A site on the post plan. So holding up here towards the heavens. Jump spot. Athena gets the kill at the Jazzgate, so that's no Vendel stayed behind by the attackers. Dropping it right now, trying to get a few more kills. Raze runs out of bullets, forced to reload.
Enemy remaining.
And there you go, gets that kill. Dodonut saves the Vandal into the next round.
Yeah.
The Complexity still gets this one right here.
Able to buy here. Everybody just going down. That take, I think we'll see Mluo playing a little farther back. Great job by Complexity this round to kind of pull CLG out of their starting positions, which is way out of Kara's range, out of the 0 point, out of now null command, and to get them forward, right? That was a big expectation Mluo had to use the utility to stop the take. That was snuffed out by the 0 point, and only 1 frag came through instead of a delay and possible frag. So nice job by Complexity there to kind of thin out the first defensive setup and find what else CLG had in mind. But they're still playing in sight. So I wonder if this could plague them if they continue to wait for another 0 point on the side of Complexity before they're hit. They have time. It was used early. Oh, they ain't waiting, Vance.
They ain't waiting at all. No command coming out from Kara. Athena just holding towards the log, just letting everybody pass. Trigger discipline for the third kill running in, or third player running in for the kill rather. And then out through the smoke, Han comes in, and it's still gonna be CLG with a beautiful hold to start things off. Lace reloading, looking to answer back. Paint Shells is gonna get rid of her.
Last player standing.
Akara now, talked about that null command, now forced by them.
Wow.
Yep, nothing you can really do there. By herself inside that B site.
One of my favorite ways to watch a round be played is to kind of allow it to happen.
Yeah.
And let the enemy get closer and closer. Even in those close quarter situations, right? They get into sight. As sight gets in place for complexity, CLG comes out of spawn. Just really well timed on having the back of all the members of complexity there. And CLG say, no, that last round was kind of a fluke. We'll take it right back. Thank you very much. It's going to be a low buy here for complexity. See how they play this one out. 4v1 across the map. This is kind of a replication of, or a mirror pistol round, but they don't really have any cat players this time.
Blade Storm activated now for Jazzikins. Trying to stay very quiet here for complexity to see if anybody's going to try to go for the aggressive peaks. But CLG have been thrown to this, really playing the retake game, allowing their opponents in. And as they give too much space, though, Jazzikin is looking for that third kill, or second kill again. I can't even count now at this hour. But Vandal now picked up.
They're moving so quick. Sometimes you can't. That's another one.
Now going for the third.
Just predicting the future. Predicting the future, Vance.
I have
maybe
the
even going for a fourth.
I have the script in my hands. But that is great openings.
The third. Wait. Oh.
Dash available. Still holding up towards the mid. Emily is looking to regain control out towards tree. They're timing off that. The fake clear, but still traded off by Kara. So that's well done. That's two weapons now picked up.
30
and look at the last
left.
two players of CLG just holding here towards spawn. Now heard running footsteps. Claudia's going to call this off. He's trying to get a timing off the flank. We are trying to re-clear towards Pizza, but not towards the left as Emlua walks into that area. So right now, Han pushes in. Trying to prevent Claudia from picking up this weapon. Flash through.
I can do this all day.
We talked about a strong economy here for CLG.
Shutting them down.
So another attempt here for Han.
Unsuppressed.
Still has utility to work with. Breaking towards this door, trying to keep their opponents inside the radius of the spike going off. Tree now cleared. A 2K. And then finally stopped by Lace. But that was a job well done by Han in the end. Good economy for CLG moving into the next. And an expensive one for complexity to buy.
Yes, very expensive.
Still
A
a thrifty,
nice
though,
win there. Right? And they say, hey, that wasn't a fluke. We're taking a round. And great job by Jazzikins.
Yeah.
Making space, taking those first fights. You're the duelist on the squad. You got to be doing it. And to see them be able to do it really without too much utility there. Jazzy was going in a window, made that happen. There was a smoke they got to play through, but you're just using the smoke. So tip of the hat there for complexity to come out with that. Han almost with a pickup. We've seen it multiple times before here. But we'll see. Jazzikins again. Forward march. Always getting that first peek in. They know it's clear in market, so they're taking at least that space from 0 point. Far up, but still spread out across the map.
Yeah. Just fighting against the turret. Trying to force some rotations here and there. Look at that from that mini-map. Athena moving over. Han moving over. Falling back, though, from middle is going to be complexity moving outside towards the catwalk. But this still looks to be a late hit back into a mid to be split.
Yes. So that's the play we just saw Jazzikins go through the window on. That little bit of utility. And now they are going to make this play towards mid. Here it goes. The KJ util going to stop them from the defensive side, though. Oh.
Nano Swarm onto the sidewalk, but it's still an opener from Jazzikins. Lockdown now initiated by Emlua towards the back of the site, not funneling forward. It's going to be complexity trying to stop that. Easily done. Now lockdown broken, but Spike's still out in the open, down at the staircase. Now time for the attackers to put theirs out. Night folding coming out for the defense, and we're trying to chase in not to allow this fight to get picked up, and it works for 2 kills. Lace out towards B main, a 2 versus 2. Last 2 players has to be pushed back towards defender spawn. As we have 10 seconds left on the timing on the plant, it gets now planted down. Lace now on the sidewalk, forced to play inside the site with Raze. Showstopper then
Last player
attempted
standing.
to answer back. It connects right away into the back spawn. The first kill, lighting up for the less. Gets the recall dart onto the ground. So now you're just jiggling. Donuts trying to play the angle. Heard the footsteps inside the site. Hunter's Fury in. It's now up on the staircase. Well done by Lace, switching out to the Vandal and wins the Red Bull clutch.
These rounds are amazing. We go back down to about 1 player left. It's the Hunter's Fury. You can see the thought process there from Dodona. Whether or not that fight goes long, that was going to be patience from Lace. Dodona had to go for at least a tap to get Hunter's Fury out and hope the distance could be closed. But if only that blast pack was there for a boost instead of a bump that was just used on lane, right? And we get to say that, right? It's not even a fault, but you just look at the play and you're like, oh my God, it was so close from so many sides. But it is going to be Lace coming out with the Hunter's Fury to make it go in Black City's way. Round 8 as we come out here. Doesn't look like mid's taken right away as it's a different look coming from CLG and Complexity. Realize that. So they're gonna change things up here, then get to mid right away. Rather than.
This was one-sided for CLG from the get-go, but just like that, it's a 1-round lead for CLG. Complexity on the comeback. The Hunter's Fury was used in a 1 versus 1, but at a crucial moment to allow Lacey to get that clutch. As we move back towards this A site, null command, potentially placed all the way back towards Hell. 0 point on the timing. As soon as he gets the jump spot, Aldron's gonna get canceled. And here comes the push in. The spray from Han at the bottom of Hell. Suppressed, so can't get the null command out yet, but at least the spike will get salvaged to fall back, and the lurk still is pushed up by Claudia in the back of Market.
That was awesome. That's where we saw Emluo actually getting caught by the 0 point left. Because they and the team had identified or Kara rather, and the team that identified that's where Emluo was standing. They move it over and they hit a 0 point with a 0 point. Now the site hit.
And a flank then comes in. They're trying to get the timing because Claudia was able to learn her round, but all that split got fully denied by such a great hold by both anchor players inside the A site. Han and Emily closing in on the kill. And CLG gets a clean hold on their end.
Great defense twice on that one. Really kind of staying for the retake, staying for the hit. CLG, I think, has figured out how Complexity wants to hit these sites, or what I think what the hit looks like initially. Because they have not been getting sold on these site takes or rotations, right? They anchor too hard. I mean, Emluo is never going anywhere.
Nope.
We know that. So Complexity calling this timeout. Maybe it's reset, obviously. We say that all the time, but source a little bit more of the utility, what's going on and who's it going to be coming from. If I think that they can figure out where Emluo is on these rounds, it becomes a little bit easier to then say, all right, if we are 0 pointing backside of B or just the overall middle of B and we don't hear this stuff turn off, maybe it's, you know, you take a second and do it again. It's just a cooldown and they've got time to do it. So
now we're getting our timeouts a little bit earlier than we have been in the past few maps. This time, once again, called up by Sloth. And trying to enter towards the A site. There's still that one player, that one anchor in the back. Actually, even on both ends here, with Emlu on one, on the other. Making it very difficult for Complexity to really try to get into these areas. But I'm sure like this timeout has to be about, hey, make sure we clear our corners too. There's been multiple times where Complexity is able to enter in, but not check the first corner and to get punished for it right away.
Knife deployed.
So close hit. We switch back to A with the side of Emluo's utility. And a hold on A main here from Gelato. From Claudia, so definitely work the map, get some orbs. Jazzykins with all, Raze with all, Kara off one, so they may even
Scanning ahead.
Long A here if they want to go for the around the world. It hasn't been a while. It's been a few rounds since they did work mid, and we finally have a few members of CLG ready to defend it. This has been A site and kind of spawn rotation too either. Just back to Cat. They're really playing it slow.
Dash towards 3-2 could get punished right away if we decide to do that, but it's going to be a full hit inside the doorway instead. Nano Swarms looking to stop that utility. That's going to get pushed in towards the A main. 0 point also doesn't spot, and look at that spray. Jazz gets down to 44. Yet we still get a plant for complexity.
Spike planted.
All with Sheris. Really, the only ultimate available in this post plant is the Blade Storm, already at half health. Here comes the attempt at the retake from CLG. Beautiful honk once again. Closing in right now onto Jazzikins. Still gets a kill with the classic.
Enemy remaining.
A save onto another one. But the timing of that smoke dissipating. 3 players at the crosshair set towards the A main.
Yep. And that was very smart by CLG. Nobody went in until all 5 were there. Very aware of what happened on the last Thrifty round, and they did not want a repeat of that. So playing it super smart, everybody's util, everybody waterfall off heaven. They're able to take there. You could just see them jumping through too, trying to scale the site as quick as possible. Dodona having a little fun there as they were just sourcing all of their targets. Quick defuse going over to that Nightfall as well. So Athena 3 away. Looks like nobody really on deck on either team. The ultimate have already on. Up and over. It's going to be a quick market hit. This usually means Jazzikin goes in. This is what they take the turret out with if they make this play, or they take out of the alarm bot mid, just to mix things up. But they're not going to find either. But they'll know now that KJ is B, so still info.
Flash 2 to allow Jazz to get secure towards market. No turret there, as you've just mentioned, so maybe this could be the play. Nobody's there, but the Nano Swarms are actually like all across the map, so even if a null command comes out, there's still Nano Swarms and a grab well to delay here towards this B site. Is Breeze all over again when you have the Cypher playing on the opposite spectrum. So let's see what happens. The smoke then comes up. Paint Shells at least breaks that util, so that's well done. Or maybe not, actually. It's Paint Shells coming out from the Donut, excuse me. But Complexity still gets the entry into the B site.
Smooth play. Like, there's the patience, right? Source more info. Complexity's timeout has put them on this pace where they're only going off Jazzikin's moves, really. As soon as they get far enough up, Jazzy has 1-2 agents of utility to boost that next play. They're set. They're all going in from each of their entries in the 3-2 split. Here we see the post plant. CLG on the way in.
Nice flash coming out. Hot gets the first, but Jazzikin's already there. Hit by the concuss, sorry. As now we're trying to go for a play just outside to keep the post planners dead by the spike, but it's still going to be Complexity that answers back in the end.
Nicely done. Complexity hasn't had to use a vast amount of ultimates to make this happen. They're getting the firepower to work, and honestly, when you get the fundamentals in line, that becomes very scary. CLG, they came out strong on this game, and we saw that Thrifty round go back and forth. And it seemed to really mix things up here. You see just back and forth, back and forth. We saw it in the last 2 matches too. So they have each other's number. This is a good series so far for the qualifier. Both are putting their heart into it. Start off round 11 here. Weapons around, full util. And a little bit more love put towards mid for both teams.
We want to fight this right away. Cloudbird comes in.
Oh no!
Emily moves out, but still saved here by Han and Athena. We still fight back towards the mid. Athena rotating back towards the B site. Double anchoring towards B. But Complexity has different plans after the initial engage towards mid. We're booking it all the way back towards Gelato into the A site. Gotta get heard.
Yeah, I was thinking, when do they hear it?
The whole time.
Right there.
The whole time.
Spin around. Dodonut's like, I hear some, but is there anybody else on this large flank? So Dodonut has to wait. They still have this sonar bolt to go towards heaven.
Oh, it spotted her.
A little bit more to get in.
Donota gets pinged out, so that saves the lockdown to be used towards the spawn instead.
Spike planted.
Now the spike goes down, default spot. A fight in the back because we never closed the door. We never closed the door, but Claudia answers back.
Shoot the lockdown.
Finally, as it gets done.
Okay.
Double nano swarm, but Claudia's stuck down towards hell. Tap onto the spike. Now you can play the crossfire setup. Wait, you can play the crossfire setup, but you're not! CLG comes back to win individual 1v1s. As they now take the lead by 3.
Shame.
It was like both Dodona and Jazzykins both used their blast pack so well.
Last round before the switch.
We get another blast pack play to come through. The 1v1s, like you said, they're becoming so important within this series. Even last game I mentioned, you see that everybody's getting these frags, and it may be a few behind, but you consider where they're getting their frags and how impactful they are. Everybody's getting their frags. So it comes down to those 1v1s. 7-4 here, final round of our first half.
Recalling my
We
boss.
do see a big grouping of that complexity team over at B. There's a Paranoia. Flash dash through the spikes there.
Oh my god, time to go to the basics. Paranoid attach from Jazzykins to get 2 openers with the Bulldog. Fighting back, one towards the staircase. It's gonna be Dodona that throws the pain shells, pinged by the Owl Drone, and forced to tuck tail back towards the spawn.
God, did they know that she had the spike? Because they just brought this lace. I think that's hilarious. Be like, I need the weights. Let me go in with the weights on. Jazzykins over here with the Bulldog just taking 2 down. Here comes the post-plant take, Vincent.
Or at least some information though. Emily gets an opener off the assist from the Nightfall. Prowler then coming across. Flash coming through and a nice ping from Lace. 1 more to go. Athena tries to clutch a 4 versus 1 out in the air. Okay. But everybody's out for complexity. I mean, in the end here, Rivington, it's still 5 rounds that you got on the attack for complexity. It looked grim at the first. We actually put up a very good fight for complexity in the end.
They figured out what was going on, and I think they did a really good job of starting to use Jazzykins just super strong on these takes. Figuring out how mid worked, giving more utility to the duelist, and then obviously, like I said, the clutches, the 1v1s people had to do. And then once they found out CLG was kind of anchoring the sites as they did, they were able to make some of this quick work.
1 enemy remaining.
I'll be the same.
Big pistol here. So we've gone 3 in a row in the last 2 maps, including this one for CLG. Complexity has an opportunity to win the most important one to tie up the game, technically, should they win this one here. They get good information to start things off. And here comes a push, a wide swing. Just swinging left and right, just baiting his Donut to allow Emily to get the 2 openers inside A. And it's not looking to be Complexity's pistol.
CLG catching Complexity as they were setting up with all that speed. Really nicely called to keep pushing through. Triple peek on tree. And it's going to be a real tough retake here, but not impossible. 2 ghosts, some quick headshots. Complexity could find themselves in a pretty good position here. Nice setup so far by CLG. We get the retake here in just a few. Turret goes out for defense. Here we are.
Waited off the Paranoia, but still too strong of a hold. Emily's looking for the ace.
The gun is always
nice.
dark.
Very nice ace coming through. That's how you want to start off. That's the momentum you give into your team. You say, all right, so we got team Emily, well, you got an ace. I'll get an ace too. How about everybody gets an ace? That's going to feel super good for CLG. They're really got to be vibing over there. And it's like we said, Complexity came out strong at the end of that half. That's the perfect way to like start it off and say, simmer down now, okay? You take a chill. So if they can come back strong, they will. Classics though, we haven't seen that stop one of these teams. This might still be a pretty spicy round. This could be something still. We'll leave it up to the players, obviously, but it is CLG taking their time. They're going to walk this one in and make sure the Spectres are covering each other.
Bring them down.
And it looks to be a full execution. Fragment then just force logs out in the open is going to be a dash away from Jazzykins. And it doesn't work out in the end. Yeah, Lace gets one at default, allowing a teammate to move up, and that's Kara long range.
Spike down B.
Not too bad, but a long rotate that comes out for Claudia.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Everybody all in on the play, and it works. You still have that lurk coming around from MLUO if you did have any trouble throughout this one. And they should be able to identify Claudia here pretty quick. So a few rounds grabbed by CLG, as should be here. Once you get it, no more thrifty business coming in, but I'm sure we'll still see a few more before the end of this game. And now it's up to complexity. Will they be able to kind of bite back here? These are some important rounds coming through. If they can't, that puts CLG in a pretty dangerous position to win the game.
Bot coming back.
Now you see the Odin that was coming out here.
My eyes went right to it.
I mean, at least been good on that, for sure.
That is set up towards B. They'll hear it ringing out. Intentions known. But it's mid-play here. They are going to walk into possibly all of this Killjoy utility. A saving grace for complexity on the side and around they may need. Oh, just over the head, and Emily takes down Jazzy Kids on the lurk.
And the paranoia is perfect, but they can't get kills out of that. Reigns gets punished. Once again, just dancing away, dodging the bullets, getting the entry. The split now comes in to the A site. As they're trying to answer back, Claudia just getting decayed. Nanoswarm is in the front and finally gets stopped. This is looking really good here for CLG on their bonus round. We're trying to decide, are we going to fall back or not? Kara's just really trying to make a play on her end.
I think they go for it. I mean, you could save the Odin plays a bigger role in the next rounds to come.
Not this time.
Yeah. It's not just a Phantom, it's an Odin. You're going to need that for whatever B shenanigans you have ready, and those shenanigans can definitely matter. So,
yeah,
going to save this big boy here. And we're going to get into the next round with it. Lace will still guard B, but now they know there's an Odin at B. So while it's saved, it's knowledge. And CLG, that kill from onto Jazzykins, I should say, from Emily was a big part of the round. Had that not happened, they had how many backs? Jazzykins could have shot 3 of them, right? That's a big play.
This is gonna hurt now, Riff. 5-round deficit for complexity. The Odin that was saved on that previous round could be everything into this round here to try to swing that pendulum back in the momentum of complexity. But that momentum definitely has been swiped clean from the way that CLG's been playing on the attack. A bonus round, an entry that happened in their favor. Dodging a paranoia and still getting a kill when 3 players were affected by Raze's paranoia.
It does sound funny. I like that. I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. Raise Omen. Yeah. No, you're right. It's like when you can't. You're like, oh, I got it, but you can't choose a target, right? Yeah. Oh, those moments they're playing in their favor right now, letting them slip by the fingers of complexity. And now it's going to be this save, but with the Odin, and they do leave the Odin alone. They're going to try to put their forces together here onto A. And again, CLG looks like they're going to crash onto the site too. It's going to be a blast back in by the Donut. And we hit.
Good delay, but the Donut made it in. Making some noise, though, spraying this Vandal, forcing 2 players to swing back on the left side of Jenny. Prowler then coming through, Claudia connects onto a Sheriff. Okay. As we stop the bleeding for the players that are being lost. Wallbang, though, still hits.
2v2.
Wait, another body shot.
30 seconds left.
Han now trying to look for some cover and gets picked off by Claudia. And Lua looking to clutch. Bird up in the air. And she dodged it. She dodged it. Could get a timing here right onto Claudia. Gets it onto the headshot. 2 bullets remaining. Looking to pick up this weapon. Back into a Phantom against that Odin that was saved in that previous round. We talked about that important Odin. Will it come in favor? Picked off here by the Outrone. And Lace will get it. The 1v1. And complexity fights back onto a Thrifty.
Thrifty.
Oh, down to the
They
wire,
sacrificed for
Vansily. Complexity on it. I told you we'd see some thrifties coming through.
You
they
weren't
never
wrong.
end in this series.
Rib
Let's
has the
go.
script now, chat. Rib has the script now.
Oh, let's go.
30 seconds
The
left.
Odin comes into play. The Odin that was saved. The big brain save coming out from the last round is what clutches this one. Complexity back in it with some weapons here. Operator on the field as well for Jazzykins. This could fold into some Blade Storm if they want. CLG not in a bad position at all, but they have dropped that round in what looked like it was going to be a full win. The Thrifty again going to Complexity. What a play by Lace and the team.
Yeah, amazing shots coming out from Claudia. Some of them happened off camera, but we heard the impact of those kills. One wall bang, one from the heavens. That was insane.
I'll find you.
Yeah, the sheriff's bling bling, right? You just heard him ringing out. You're like, oh, those feel good by the sound. Okay, here we are. Defense getting a little rotation, a lean from Lace and Jazzykins back over to A as they're not quite sure. You just want to make sure they have a bit of a 3-2 split.
Yep.
So this is Emily this time making this play towards mid, so it doesn't look like a full commit. It looks like that's a big lurk. The team's now looking to commit towards B on the side of CLG. So very push and pull with the sites right now, seeing what they can get out of Complexity on defense.
Potentially a lockdown immediately up in turret spot. There you go. So the null command comes up, already put the lockdown into the site. Lace holding towards the default with the Odin. Hitting her teammate first, looking back, still an entry comes in. Null command now picked off. Donut looking to chase down, looking to pin in. Emily still opening things up. Claudia stopped then finally by Athena. And that with the operator from Jazzykins was fully avoided, and an expensive round for Complexity. A CLG are just 2 rounds away of making it into the main event here at the Game Changers in North America.
That's a great point. Did we even like really hear or see the
exactly 0?
Avoid it, right? So nicely done, and they spent a lot of time back and forth to mid, up mid. We saw Emily with the clear on the alarm bot, which still, you know, put Complexity into more of a default defense, and then to watch their flanks a little bit instead of an instead of a mid watch. So nice little games in the mid round by CLG here to keep that round in their favor and keep Complexity guessing. Down to Sheriffs, 2 frenzies on the side of Complexity. They should be able to buy next round here. And they have again sorted that Killjoy utility across the map. Turret now for the first time in mid, so they're putting a bigger priority on that, Vansily.
Oh my.
Satchel out.
At least Kara answers back, but that's Jazzykins falling early. Trying to go for that left and right. It works out. I mean, it was a one and done position. A lot of pressure onto the shoulders of Jazzykins, but you take what you can get. 4 versus 4. CLG even juggling the weapons back so that Complexity cannot pick that up.
Or left side. Oh, it's going to be actually close, 0 points. So they're hoping somebody playing against the wall, but that's not going to hit Claudia.
Showstopper to open things up. Now onto the sidewalk, makes it out. Raisin finally gets picked off, but Claudia once again. This was out towards the site. Finally stopped. Shock darts coming through. But no connection out of that.
One enemy
Pain
remaining.
shells flushing out Kara, unfortunately. Falls to her doom. And that's Lace picking up a Vandal. A 2 versus 1. Spiked out Planet. Both players now in the backside. Boathouse for CLG. Lace with
Deja vu.
6 seconds left onto the recon dart. May still want to try to play the lurk.
Not ready yet.
Now that it's available,
Revealing area.
clears at the front site. Confirms now that both players are in the back of the site now. There's so much time wasted. There's 1 kill with the spray transfer. Cannot get the second one. Han still comes in, and Han puts CLG at match and series point.
What a great trade there. That's the only way it's going to happen. And the spray as well. Almost a flick coming in from Lace. That was a deja vu. Just switch the attack to defensive side. We just saw Lace win a 2v1 there, but not this time. CLG say game point, match point on map 3 here to secure this qualifying win. And it's going to cause Complexity to make the time out to see 6 more rounds. Vansily, they made it look interesting at 10 to 8 or 12 to 8, sorry. But 12 to 6, that is a big ask. So this timeout, it's going to have to click for the whole team.
I mean, everything has to click. Everything has to gel. The shots weren't at first, but you're starting to see players like Claudia starting to heat up. Maybe one of those opportunities where Jazzikins, the operator didn't work out. Probably don't have enough for an operator into this round here either, Riv, but because this is such an important round, will they still want to put the jitters behind and still want to play aggressive to gain early map control? Looks to be the case.
That's a good question. Yeah, they go straight towards mid. We'll see how CLG reacts to this one. They've had Emluo on that right side, so maybe the first to detect that this is happening if tiles move slow.
Hurried up.
Oh, they smoke top mid.
Allows for them to walk out for a bit. Recon dart outside of B main, but it doesn't ping anybody. Jazzikins with no operator has to try to land a shot with the Vandals, and that is going to be instantly forfeited as the shots don't land.
I mean, you called it, Vans. Even the smallest things you can get out of pushing like that helps, and not too much gain there, but the attempts are happening. Complexity is trying to put the best foot forward on these rounds and not just let CLG take that space. And that may be a little easier now. In position to get a little bit of a backstab here is going to be Kara.
Works out. Jazzikins with the support. 2-player advantage to start things off for Complexity. And Luo just walks up, instant headshot onto Kara. So trying to find information. Exactly, still drop intentionally. Still a default that you have for CLG. Recon Dart didn't get too much except hearing the shots coming out from mid. Jaskin gets the opener though onto Han as she was trying to creep up forward. 2 more players left.
30
Nightfall
seconds left.
available.
Oh. The little tricks. Having Lace run in and Jazzikins peek. They're trying to play every advantage they have here on the side of Complexity to get these favors, get these frags. And the creeping Athena crouching over. Will she have Jazzikins?
Hunter's Fury though. No matter what, this is a plant with the Hunter's Fury. 10 seconds left. But with that first kill that Athena got, they had the player's advantage. So you want to save the Hunter's Fury in the end. And Lua stuck in the back. Gets the first shot. Shock darts then misses, but still, it's too much to handle for Emlua this time around. Complexity puts the defuse in, and he can save this Hunter's Fury for another round.
Oh, no, you don't deserve my inventions.
Down to the wire. Very nicely played, just without utility, but the fundamentals of that. Like I said, Laces run mid. You saw that Han was like, all right, whoever's running in is about to get oh, hi, Jazzikins. It's kind of that, surprise play. So Complexity coming out of the woodwork sneakily to make these rounds work. Still having a tough time to buy. So you see what's going through these rounds. That is just going to be actually a Cloud or a Blade Storm round. It's not even a tough buy. I saw Jazzikins just thinking about a purchase. They feel comfortable here. Weapons around, Nightfall, and the ultimate from Emluo. I think you'd expect this to go B. It's more of a for sure lockdown. We'll see how Complexity plays this as they do try to get a little A space maybe here as the round moves on.
And Lace is not in a spot to really try to shut down a lockdown should it be used here towards the attack side. Playing onto the sidewalk. Going with the Phantom, no more Odin. Mid control being taken up by CLG to break the alarm bot. And now Lace has to play it from the far back of sight. Things are getting dicey and dangerous now. So they're closing a gap towards this bid to be split, with the exception of CLG still holding 2 players up on catwalk. They're trying to catch Complexity off mistakes on rotations.
They looking for such a big reaction there, right? Like light fires in mid, and how they're going to try to go towards B with the Nightfall, but it's a fake. Oh my word. Not too much bite from Complexity. They have rotated. They don't have numbers here. CLG has made the bet.
Jazzikins with the dash. Gets a dink, but somehow no kill because she has a Bulldog. That is so unfortunate. Now the null command comes out here for the defenders. And a Hunter's Fury to look to delay. It does get a back to Han. It gets the kill onto Han on top of that. But you still have a lurk on catwalk. Athena gets the first kill. Only 2 more needed to move forward. Raze has something else to say though. Answers back. Lockdown then onto the attack on the post plant. And they're just looking to run that clock down. They might let the lockdown through for complexity. So that allows CLG to move forward and regain space.
Area's clear.
This could be it, Vansili. This could be the qualifying round here. Dodona and Mluo alive. Two key players so far within this. A little bit of a sight grab coming from the shadows, and it's going to be the retake.
No recon dart. Finally comes out towards the front. But no, this could be it. These 5 players want to continue the CLG legacy as they make it to the main event of the Game Changers.
The faithful come through, rewarded. Another game for CLG. Well fought, hard fought as well to make sure this went to 3 maps. Even with complexity, kind of calling the audibles, figuring out the mid games. CLG kept themselves mentally strong, and they played these maps so well. Even there at the end, a little one-on-one again, as you said. It was more of a swing, but each player getting a frag. It shows you the teamwork CLG put into this game, right? That solidifies.
Oh, yeah.
But no, overall, a great game by both teams.
It definitely looked really one-sided there for complexity. That it was going to be potentially even a 1-0, 2-0 after seeing that first map. But CLG, Shinobi, kept their cool, as you mentioned here, Rivington, and they were able to fight back for sure. So they make it across, but it's not over yet here for complexity, right?
No, it's not. They move on. They're going to be qualifying, and we get to see more plays like this. I mean, you have to give entire props to the team. Mluo is one that brought you to a map 3 for CLG, so the way that they did it showed the star power that they have, and you're right, Vans, it's not over for them.
Well, with that, a big congratulations to CLG as they make it to the main event. We're going to bring it back to the desk here where they can break down the series that just happened. So, Lemon Kiwi, what do you have to say?
I am speechless. Vance, you're asking me what I gotta say. What a series. The best one. It went the distance, stretched these teams to the absolute limits. Congratulations, CLG Red, who are one of our 8 teams qualifying to the main event. But Tanner, CLG didn't put much of a fight on Pearl, but then they adapted and overcame against the serious talent on complexity. How did CLG kind of shift their playstyle to turn their chances around on Fracture and Ascent?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fracture was obviously a big dig deep moment. Han obviously playing a huge factor on that map. Doing it again here on Ascent was huge. We didn't see anything crazy from the composition. It was actually pretty standard from complexity. And I think that just played right into CLG Red's hands. The same type of scrappiness we saw on Pearl was prevalent here from complexity, but it was received so much better on a map like Ascent that is vanilla is the word that I use for it. It's relatively solved. So there was just no tricks in all of the chaos this time around. CLG Red, they just managed to thrive inside said chaos.
Oh, and important to mention a couple of things here. Number 1 is the 2 maps that were won by CLG, map number 2 and 3. They won every single pistol there. And also, we've been seeing more and more of those first kills going the way of CLG as the maps move on. And for this one, things were even, but it was also still pretty scrappy between the 2 teams in the early rounds. And that's kind of what happened with the complexity. They would find some early success in their round thanks to Jazzykins getting 1, 2, but after that, all the utility coming in for CLG was just way stronger. I think everybody was on point and they have to feel good about it. Everybody hitting their shots and everybody kind of working together to make this victory happen.
But there's one player, I know we got a bunch of MVPs, everyone put on a show today, but Triad, what did you think about Emily's impact on this map? She had this insane ace on round 13, played maybe a less popular Astra pick on the map. What did you think of all that?
Yeah, a little bit of a less popular pick on the Astra. Recently, we've seen a lot more of the Omen. But I think overall, like I was saying, just a player that is able to use the utility to almost perfection in some rounds, and also able to frag to the point that she did on the pistol round, getting that ace, kind of doing a little bit of everything. And I think it's so well supported. One of the rounds that we saw early on is with the duelist. So using that Astra utility with the paint shows to guarantee Dojino was getting 1, 2 kills, and it was happening a couple times. It was something that complexity was not maybe fully prepared for and had to adapt around it, but they couldn't really do it anymore towards the end.
Yeah, and that play that you mentioned, Dryad, I'm glad you did, because that was a sick play. Deep alarm bot.
So good.
paint shells right after that. You had to run into Dodonut or run into the gravity well with the paint shells, and Complexity ran into the gravity well with the paint shells. Spoiler alert. Sorry if you missed that one when you're watching back to VOD in the earlier rounds. I do want to mention the Astra pick too, right, where it's a little less popular, but you kind of just lean on what you're comfortable between the Omen and the Astra. And if Emily's comfortable on anything, it's got to be the Astra. They're playing it on the Fracture, so they do it again on the Ascent. It just makes sense. A really young player too. It speaks volumes to have a player play well in a map being down a series, that map being Fracture for Emily, to then be able to carry that momentum over into a map 3. It really felt like after map 2, CLG Red were energized and Complexity were a little bit out of steam.
Hey, I'm comfortable if Emily's on my team. She had that 3K on round 8, of course, the pistol ace on round 13, tremendous impact and all around important changes from CLG to be able to come back in this series. Gonna throw away to some Prime Gaming post-match highlights, but when we return, we're gonna hear from Athena, Team Mom, how they rallied behind her and really how they were able to come back in this series and what it means to qualify to that main event. We'll see you after this.
One enemy remaining. Flawless. One dead. One enemy remaining. You fought well. One blinding. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch. One enemy remaining. Bam. One enemy remaining. Attackers win.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a Verizon post-match interview after a banger of a series, and I'm here with Athena, the goddess from CLG Red. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much.
We'll get into the Twitter content in a second that you want to tell me about, but how are the vibes, especially after that comeback on Pearl?
I mean, it's literally immaculate. I think we definitely struggled a bit on Pearl, but we managed to bring it back. You know, everyone here is just so happy, so excited. We have Emlo here on Discord, but she's not at bootcamp, unfortunately, but she's super excited too. I mean, overall, we're just really proud of each other and glad that we could make it happen today.
And what does it mean to you and your team to qualify to this main event? Because with so many more teams, it's such a longer and harder journey. What does this moment mean to you?
Well, for us as a team, we've gone through so much. I mean, obviously, there has been recent news as well regarding us. So I think this really means a lot. It means that no matter what circumstances we're under, we're always ready to push through. I think as a team, we really solidified our spot here and solidified like the trust and the love that we have for each other. So today just means a lot in general.
And speaking of that trust and love, I've been hearing that you're like the team mom. Was it Mommy Myrna or something like that? I don't know. But
no, don't call me Mommy Myrna. No.
I take no responsibility. I've been taught the wrong thing.
No, okay. You are correct. Unfortunately, you are correct. Yeah, I'm definitely team mom. Yeah. Look at
team mom.
These
so
kids.
How were you able to rally everybody after that map loss? How were you able to go in mom mode and keep?
Honestly, I think everyone did a good job of just mentally resetting themselves. I think it's really easy for some players to get negative or to think bad thoughts, but honestly, as a team, the second that we all realize like, hey, we just play the way that we play, We all just really found our comfort zone. So honestly, I didn't really team mom anything. I think everyone individually just put in their own work, and everyone as a team came together. So.
Well, look at everybody dabbing it up in the background.
I
You
know.
love to see it. The vibes really are immaculate. I also, Athena, you were saying you were dropping bars. You were about to drop bars on Twitter.
Oh.
Did you need a?
We're on stream. Shh. Yeah. So if you go to my Twitter, you'll see that I am indeed dropping bars. It does have something to do with the fact that we are now indeed orgless. So us 5 as a team are orgless. As some of you know, CLG Red is officially CLG dead. And if you see that, go on my Twitter, you'll see those tweets, you'll see those bars. So yeah, that's what's going on. We're officially orgless, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We still got what it takes. So
CLG dead, but alive and well in the main event, which is all that matters at the end of the day. You've proven that you deserve an org. Right? And the 6 digits at the end of the day. But also, our analysts were curious what you guys were cooking up on map 1, no duelists. What's up with that?
Map 1, we do have a duelist. We have Race. Analyst, you got it wrong. You messed up there somewhere.
Have you guys ever ran no duelist compositions?
Have we ran no duels on Pearl? I don't think so. Never. You guys got us messed up. I think you're thinking of complexity, but it's okay. Because you know what? It worked out for them. But we know the juice now. We know the tricks. We know what's going on now. We got it.
You know what they're cooking. Okay, as long as
we know what they're cooking.
One duelist, we're all good at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not listening to them anymore. But it's time to get to the positive parts. Let's get the shout outs ready to go. You got the team behind you. Who do you want to shout out? Because this is a big win today.
I think just in general, I just want to shout out, honestly, all the staff on CLG Red that did help support us to be here today. Obviously, the whole CLG news is really saddening for some people. A lot of people didn't actually know about it. So just a huge shout out to everyone at CLG that even got this to happen. We're still allowed to use the bootcamp area. We're still allowed to stay here and play and fully supported until the end of GC. And obviously, I just want to say huge shout out to my teammates. Everyone did so good today. Look at you guys. Shh, don't say you're kissing. Everyone just did amazing. Everyone had their clutches. Everyone went off. Everyone's comms were good. Everyone's mental was good. You know, just because we lost the first map, it didn't matter. Like, everyone is just vibing. And it's
matter.
Great. Yeah.
It's so great to hear. Slay, Queen, you guys are amazing. It was so fun to watch. Thank you so much for the interview, Athena. Go and celebrate. Keep your ladies in line. And we'll bring back our analysts in a second. See you, Athena. Head pats. Head pats. Oh, great. Yeah, my bad on that. There's 5 duelists, 1 duelist, 0 duelists, but I have 2 amazing analysts. Tanner, what's your reaction to the immaculate vibes from that interview?
Yeah, it really is just good vibes. A strong team, regardless of what might be going on in the background. Obviously, they proved a lot for themselves today. I think we expected a lot out of them just in recent times. We hadn't seen a whole lot of V1. We hadn't seen a whole lot of Shopify, but what we had seen is Complexity, EG, and CLG. And those are 3 teams that we expect to be at the top. So if you want to be at the top yourself, you have to beat them. And CLG Red did that today.
Triad, what an amazing... I know you guys always get the long games, but this one was such a banger. And at least we were entertained at the end of the day. And there's so many different variations of compositions to study. And I'm looking forward to seeing more CLG Red.
Yeah, it was so cool because of how explosive both of the teams are, going for the aggressive pushes on the defense in any map. I mean, we saw it over and over again, and some cool executes throughout. But it's cool as well to see because we've been talking a lot about complexity. We got to see them day one. We got to see them dominating. But now CLG, we get to see that side. We get to see the way that they adapted round after round, and I'm just so happy. I mean, listening to Athena is just like good vibes overall.
It was, and I like how she lets everyone be happy in the back, like dabbing it up and always making these funny faces, and then she's like, settle, let's not get canceled or get clipped on more than maybe we already have. But we are going now to the AIM Lab flick of the day, and there was too many to pick. Tanner, what's the flick of the day?
Of course it's this. The timing on this kill to send those 2 bullets into Kara right as she's getting resurrected. If that kill doesn't happen, there's a world where either Lace gets oh my god, I mean, just chef's kiss on it all. And it was the momentum to be able to close the game out like that when Complexity are coming back and then just explode into map 3. MLO doing it from home, by the way, just stuck in the Discord call all by their lonesome, but still making plays like that.
And with that, our 4 qualifying teams, you know, there's a total of 8, but we've already have 4 locked in: Shopify Rebellion, Evil Geniuses, Version 1, and of course, CLG Red, or Gliss, and maybe Hungry. But you at home have a chance to sponsor and give this team a home. They're going to the main event. Here are the teams on your screen: Triad, Reaction, teams you've expected. Who else could be joining them? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think all these are very much expected. Of course, the one that went to the distance was the one that we were watching on the mainstream, and that being CLG making it through at the end. But Shopify, we got to see early on, got number 2 in the world last year, so you're expecting that for sure. Version 1, for those who don't know, has Mel. And when you have Mel as well as the IGL and just that combination of the team overall looks really, really solid. Evil Geniuses as well, we've gotten the chance to see. So everything is going as expected. I think the ones that are missing is going to be Complexity for sure. And Ascent, that is another team that has the Cloud9 player. So you're kind of waiting for everybody that was in the past roster to make it through.
Yeah, 2/5 of Cloud9 have qualified for the main event. Still waiting on the rest of the team to do so. We expect them to do so. One team I wanted to mention there, shout out Coach Troll, but Akumu. They make it to, they eventually get 2-0'd by Evil Geniuses, which again, we're putting them in our top 2, 3, 4 for EG. I was not expecting Akumu to have the performance that they have been having, I guess. And I definitely think they could be in the conversation for teams that do qualify through that lower bracket.
I'm just looking at this bracket, which you at home can too, using exclamation point bracket. There's a lot of teams. We're narrowing it down though. Missing names: Ascent, Complexity put up a huge fight today. FaZe, amongst other giants who are missing from those 4 final spots. Tomorrow, we will be deciding those final 4 teams joining the 4 we announced today. So you'll want to stay tuned. We got some highlights of the matches, and you'll want to come back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Follow the channel, notifications. Go on Twitter. Athena is tweeting some heat there, so you'll want to see what kind of bars she's dropping and what CLG Red have in store for you guys at the main event. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
One enemy remaining. Headshot. All dead. Exact. One enemy remaining.